Is this a good time to sell your house? Let's discuss that. Welcome to Jerome in Real Estate. I'm Jerome, your local realtor here in the Fountain and Colorado Springs area. Today, we're going to discuss a little bit on when a good time is to sell your house. But first, what I wanted to do is to start Monday off with sort of a Monday market watch. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some stats for the Colorado Springs area, like the general area of Pikes Peak region, as far as real estate goes for the past 7 days. Okay. So, what I see here as of right now, we've had 174 new listings in the past 7 days. Um, There's also something called coming soon. These are homes that within the next 14 days, they're going to be listed as for sale. And we have 41 of those right now. So in the next 14 days, you'll see 41 more new listings, right? Now, as far as solds, under contracts, pendings, I'm going to lump those all together because really, as far as sold, that means yes, the property just sold. As far as pending is concerned, that means it's almost done, right? And under contract means that it just got changed from a for sale sign to the for sale sign still out in front of the house probably, but it's now under contract, which means somebody is has agreed to purchase that property. So in all three of these categories, I'm going to lump them together because it's basically saying that yeah, it's close to being sold or it already is sold. So for the three of those categories combined, you've got 708. All right. So that's basically 708 properties that are now leaving the market. And we only had 174 come on in the past 7 days. Right. So if you want to know what type of a market we're in, you're in a seller's market. Right. Which leads to our next question. Is it time or is it a good time to sell your house? Right. And before we move into that, I just want to make sure that I remind you that if you like the content and you like some of the data and the tidbits that I'm giving out, please like and subscribe to the channel. Okay. So, one of the questions you want to ask yourself when you're thinking about selling your house or your property, um, the biggest question should really be, why would I sell my house? Right? Do you actually have a valid reason? Just because it's a seller's market doesn't necessarily mean that every individual out there that owns property um, will benefit from selling their home at this particular time. There are a whole bunch of scenarios where that wouldn't be the case. So your particular scenario could be different. Um, it depends on all types of things, your financials, um, what kind of a family situation are you in? How long have you owned the home? What kind of equity do you have in it? Have you refinanced a bunch of times? All these types of questions should really be re- thought about in detail. Okay. And if all you're doing is running to an agent and saying, yeah, it's a seller's market. I want to use it. I want to, sell and, maybe make some profit. You may want to sit back a little bit, think about it, and choose someone who can actually walk you through the right thought process for you specifically. Right. Um, the other things you could think about is, if you're not quite ready now, when would you be ready? And what if you actually want to keep the property? Maybe you're moving, but you don't just want to sell. Maybe you want to hang on to it as an investor, right? I understand a lot of people, they get hung up on the word investor, right? But if you are a landlord, if you're renting out your property, It is an investment property, which makes you an investor. Okay. So maybe you want to go that route. Maybe you feel like, in the next few years, the appreciation on your property is gonna, you know, even help more bolster, how much money you're able to take out of that property in the end when you sell it. Maybe you just want to hang on and be a long term landlord and get that continual rental check, to pay for your mortgage and hopefully to get you a little bit of a buffer over the mortgage that you could possibly invest in other things. Obviously, that's one of the questions you should ask yourself is, if you are thinking about selling, what are you going to do with that money? Um, are you just going to go, blow it on a vehicle or something like that? Oh, I'm going to buy, the next Lexus or the next BMW or the Tesla or whatever. Is that what you're going to do with it? Are you going to invest it in maybe another home? Right. Something that a lot of people don't know about is, if you're already an investor, right? Let's say you do have a property that you're renting out and you decide to sell. A lot of people are worried about the capital gains tax, right? But what if you could delay that capital gains tax when you sell? There is something out there called a 1031 exchange. All right. And we will be talking about this, in one of my next videos. I'll be going a little bit more in depth in a 1031 exchange. But basically, what it is you delay taxes when you sell a property, um, as long as you have a different property lined up that you'll be able to roll the profit from the last property into, and you have a certain time frame that you'll be able to do that, and it has to be a like kind property. There are, certain specifics, and you want to do it with someone who knows what they're doing. But with that, you can basically delay taxes some more, and you won't be paying the capital gains tax immediately on that property, right? So you could be thinking like that. You could be thinking that you're going to take the profit from a sale and invest it in something maybe you believe is going to be even a better investment. Maybe it's stocks or something like that. Maybe you think you can do that. Maybe you think you can roll it into cryptocurrency, right? Which is even riskier, and it's possible that they have higher returns than real estate. So you really do need to think about all those types of things when you start having a conversation about selling your property. It's not just a really quick thing where, oh, well, it's a seller's market. Let me go ahead and take advantage, right? What's the market going to look like a year from now, 2 years from now? What if you sell now with, this great appreciation that we've had, but maybe 2, 3 years from now, it'll even be bigger. It'll even be more. What if that happens? How big of a fool are you going to look like if you sell too soon? On the flip side, what if you don't sell, um, and then the market tanks, right? You're gonna feel like a fool because you had the chance to make all this money, all this profit, and then it goes away. Here's something else you should actually think about. If let's say you don't want to sell, right, and you want to rent it out, you want to be a landlord. Something else you should think about is, would you actually be a good landlord? Do you have the temperament for it? Do you have at least a little bit of business acumen to treat an investment property as an investment? If that's not you, maybe you should just sell, right? If you're going to be constantly worried about every little thing that a renter does in your property, and that's all you think about, and it just runs your blood pressure up, and you get emotional and you get heated about certain little things, and you, especially if you don't want a property manager or something like that, which I highly recommend. Um, but if you're not the type that can handle that, maybe you should just sell. Why be a landlord and put yourself through that stress? Sometimes people just don't want to deal with the stress of having that extra mortgage. It's better to just go ahead and, hey, put it off, sell, take your profits, roll it into something else, and maybe into another house or something like that, you know. But I bring all this up because a lot of people don't think about all the options that they truly have, and there are definitely more than this, much more to think about than this, right? So, just food for thought. Food for thought. Once again, if you like the content, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please don't forget to give me a like, subscribe to the channel so you can get the next updates, and visit me on jeromeinrealestate.com. We'll see you there.